Downtown Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's Beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host, the Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming at you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. Again, it is 833-212-1017, the Truth Talking text line, where you can call in or text in to the greatest 60 minutes in radio. Make sure you watch and stream us live by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube, where you can give us a like, you can give us a share, you can give us a subscribe so you don't miss any of your favorite award-winning shows. Shout out to you, Truth Nation. Shout out to DJ Brother Z holding down on the ones and the twos. And shout out to you, Truth Nation. Truth Nation, before, we're going to do a midweek recap. But before we get into that, Truth Nation, let me tell y'all something. Truth Nation, I'm a fan of the arts. All right? I'm a fan of the arts. I love music. I do. I love going to plays. I love concerts. Like, I enjoy it. I'm not like a movie head. I'm not a music head. I'm just somebody who enjoys entertainment. And I feel like here in Milwaukee, I don't know if we understand how lucky we are to have so many theaters, to have so many concert venues, to have so many shows and so many opportunities here in the city of Milwaukee. I don't think we understand how blessed we are to be in a major metropolis like the city of Milwaukee. Like, I understand we ain't Chicago. We ain't LA. We ain't one of these big major cities, but we are a big city, and we have an opportunity, and we have the opportunity to enjoy the arts and the beauty of the arts. Milwaukee is special because when you go to Madison, you don't have all these opportunities. When you go to Green Bay, you don't have all these opportunities. When you go to so many other places across this state, they don't have the same opportunities that we have. Milwaukee, we are special. And y'all know I raved about the opportunity to go see Hamilton in Milwaukee. I even had Alexander Hamilton himself, the guy who played it. I even had him on the show because I'm a big fan of Hamilton when they were here in Milwaukee, and I loved the show, and I would see it over and over and over again if I could. It's a great show. But Truth Nation, the Wiz was in town, and y'all know I gave away tickets last week to go see the Wiz. Now, admittedly, I've never seen it before. All right? Listen, it came out in 1978. I was born many years after that. Parents, maybe my parents did watch it. I've seen bits and pieces, but I wasn't into it. I've seen The Wizard of Oz. Hell, I think I even seen some clips of Oz, the HBO show. But I've never seen the whole show of Wiz. Like, I've heard some songs before, but I've never heard it. And Truth Nation, shame on me for that, but yet let me tell you, the Wiz cast last night at the Marcus Performing Arts Center that I saw, what I saw last night was the best off-Broadway cast of singers and entertainers that I have ever seen in my life. Matter of fact, this cast was so dang good that this could have been the cast on Broadway and nobody would have batted an eye. That is how good this cast was. Truth Nation, since literally they was singing, and I'm not exaggerating when I state this or not hyping it up whatsoever. That cast was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. There were so many powerful voices last night. It was unbelievable. And I finally understood what it meant and what it means when people say a singer blew them away. Truth Nation, there was a moment yesterday at the end when I was sitting in my chair and Glenda, one of the witches, was singing one of the last songs, and literally as she was hitting the note, I gripped the chair I was sitting in, and I leaned back, and I said to myself, I am blown away. I was amazed. My baby girl was listening to the ensemble at the end, how they were all harmonizing, tears coming down her face. It was beautiful to see black people out there performing. Now, one thing it was a little, the one of the earlier scenes, it kind of seemed a little shucky and jiving, and white people were laughing. I didn't like that. But it was entertainment, but it just kind of felt weird. Just weird. But Truth Nation, I have never seen somebody sing live and hit that note like that and make me feel that way. And if you were not there last night, excuse me, please call in at 833-212-1017 because I know I ain't the only one that felt that. And for the last 14 hours, I have had this song on repeat literally for the last 14 hours. What would I do if I could feel? This is not it. I don't know. Yeah. This is it. This is it right here. Turn it up.
I could cry. I could smile. I could lay back for a while. What would I do if I feel? What would I do?
This is a Neo version.
If I could look inside.
I gave Zach the wrong information. I said 2004. The cast recording. Here it is. I've been listening to this song right here for 14 straight hours. Go ahead, just turn it up.
I could cry, I could smile, I might lay back for a while. Tell me what would I do if I could feel?
Turn it down. I'm telling y'all, when I say I've been jamming and loving this, we've been jamming and loving this in our house right now. If y'all have time, make sure y'all go to the Marcus Performing Arts Center to see Wiz and that beautiful black cast, because it will be worth every single penny. I was tired last night. I ain't gonna lie to you, I didn't want to go. It started at 7:30. I was tired, had a long day. I said, you know what? I'm going to just go because I haven't seen it, and I got the ticket, so I got to go. And thank goodness I went because it gave me life. It literally gave me life. So, Truth Nation, I'm so happy that I went to go see the Wiz yesterday. And so, if you have an opportunity this weekend, if you free this weekend, I feel bad because my mom was like, can you give me a ticket? I got tickets for free. I said, you asked too late. But now I got to buy her a ticket to go to one of these shows because she has to be there. I'm telling you this right now. It was that good. I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. I heard Sherwin talk about it, or I heard he talked about it, because I asked him after the show. I said, did you go last night? He said, I did. I said, Sherwin. I said, them bleeps could sing. And he said, Kyle, it was amazing. I'm telling you, it was incredible. But 833-212-1017, Miss Carolyn, what are your thoughts on today's conversation about the Wiz?
Well, Kyle, I'm glad that you have had the chance to experience that because the original cast and the original star singer was Stephanie Mills back in 1978. That's how she got her start because she starred in The Wiz. So that was a phenomenal time back then, and it's good to hear that they're keeping up that level of performance and stuff. So you young people, keep going. You got to see a lot more plays that are very, very good.
Thank you, Miss Carolyn. Absolutely. It was that good. It really was. And it's hard to imagine that there's a group of singers better than what I saw yesterday. And what I just got a text. I got a text. No. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a text saying there was going to be no money that week would be too much. But no, it was a text saying, well, you done played that song. You ain't going to be making money streaming. But 833-212-1017, that is the Truth Talking text line. And I was going to do my midweek recap because there's a lot of good things that I want to hit on, Truth Nation. But I just felt like I had to start with that because it was phenomenal. It really was. And I felt like I needed a moment to brag on the fact that we have access to stuff like that right here in the city of Milwaukee, and we got to take advantage of it. The Wiz did not miss. Somebody said I won tickets from you guys last week, and let me tell you, last night was a core memory was made. I loved it. Go see The Wiz, y'all. That was Christina, what she said. I'm telling you, I'm telling y'all, I barely talked about it. DJ Brother Z, he was gone last week, but usually when I go to stuff, I usually talk about what I'm about to do. It just wasn't on top of my mind. It wasn't on top of my mind, and I was like, dang, I don't even want to go because it starts so late, but I said, I just got to go. And it was the best decision I made. And I'm glad Christina texted in and talking about how she won tickets and how it was a core memory. I'm telling y'all, same here. So if you have an opportunity to go see The Wiz at the Market Performing Arts Center, go. But 833-212-1017, Truth Nation. On the other side, I hate to do this. I hate to go from talking about all this great things to talk about this, Truth Nation, because when we come back, Tony Evers said he may send the National Guard to Milwaukee. Are y'all ready to have the streets of Milwaukee occupied? I'll discuss why next.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube. How? Every day from 1 to 4. Truth Nation, I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. Hey, how? I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
Now that's powerful.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th at Franklin Field, featuring live performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty pageant, art installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th. Get your tickets at tacoandtequilafestival.com.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
Truth Nation, let me tell y'all this right now. The Analysis Live is on Friday, and they have buy one, get one. But you know what, Truth Nation? I got a text message today for the Analysis Live because you know I love Truth Nation. Brother Z, you know I love Truth Nation, right? And I got a text from my peoples, right? I was talking to my boy TC and TA. Y'all know I'm cool with the analysis. The analysis. And I was like, listen. I'm trying to get Truth Nation in the building. They said, okay, Kyle, we'll send them to, they can go buy tickets just like everybody else by going to TALiveshow.com. That's TALiveshow.com. But I said, I'm Kyle Wallace. I want my people to get tickets for free. And they said, well, Kyle, what you mean you want to get for free? I said, we need to have Truth Nation in the building on Friday night at the Riverside Theater. See Ric Flair. Woo! Because we love wrestling, Truth Nation, don't we? You see Jacob Mizorowski, the pitcher for the Brewers. Pat Murphy, the manager for the Brewers. Potentially Giannis in the building. The Bucks in the building. So Thanasis said, okay, Kyle, I got you. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. I give you some tickets. You can have tickets until supplies last. You can give away free tickets. So Truth Nation, keep it locked because I'm going to tell y'all on the other side at 12:30, I'm going to tell y'all how y'all can get tickets to the Analysis Live Friday night for free, courtesy of your boy. I'm going to tell you, make sure y'all keep it locked. Make sure y'all keep it locked because I will be hooking y'all up with free tickets. You ain't got to call in neither. I'm going to make it real easy because I told them I got to get these free tickets for my people. But also, Truth Nation, life's better with American Family Insurance. That's because their agents will make you feel totally protected with a home, auto, or life policy that's right for you. Also, you're free to enjoy your dreams. American Family Insurance, insure carefully and dream fearlessly. Visit them at amfam.com today to find an agent near you or get a quote instantly online. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Make sure y'all watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. That is 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Now, Tony Evers is a lame duck governor. And for those who don't know what lame duck governor means, it means that he's done. Like, he's not running for re-election, so he doesn't have to worry about any repercussions to any of his decisions. He done. So if you get mad at him, oh well, he out of here. And Tony Duck being a lame duck governor has allowed for him to say what he wants and doesn't have to worry about much after that. And why I'm bringing that up, because when you don't have to deal with political pushback, you can say a lot. You can say what's on your mind. You can be a little bit more unfiltered. And on Monday, Tony Evers was asked about the violence that we have seen in Milwaukee in just 2026. And while he was at this event being asked that, he decided that he was going to respond. And he didn't just respond with a PC answer. No. Tony Evers responded in a way that a lot of people probably would be shocked that he did, and he wouldn't have responded like this 2 years ago. Go to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube so you can see the WISN 12 report about Tony Evers' reaction to what is happening in Milwaukee and if he is willing to send the National Guard to our city. Go to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube or turn up your radio.
Violent weekend. Police say just 3 shootings happened in less than 72 hours, and it left 2 people dead, 7 others injured. We put those locations on a map for you so you can see where these are. Early Sunday, a triple shooting killed a father on Milwaukee's busy Water Street. 22-year-old Dylan Jackson died at the scene near Juneau Avenue. According to Milwaukee police, 22 people have now been killed in Milwaukee so far this year. That's the same number of homicides through this state last year. 7 70 people have been injured in shootings in 2026. That's actually down from 103 at this time in 2025. Governor Evers today in Milwaukee.
Is sending the National Guard to Milwaukee something you would consider to help Milwaukee police?
Well, if they needed the help, I think the police department and the officers here are doing as much as they possibly can. If there's something that the Guard could do, I think they would have to ask us.
A spokesperson for Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson said the city is not considering National Guard help right now, saying, quote, our police are well trained and experienced. Inviting others to participate in law enforcement or crowd control presents its own set of challenges. Hey, Governor Tony Evers.
All I heard is the National Guard is not off the table. That's all I heard from Tony Evers, is that he would actually consider sending the National Guard if help was asked for. That is something that is a shift and a change, because the last time Tony Evers sent the National Guard to any place was during the 2020 after George Floyd. You had a lot of mess happening in Kenosha. And so for us to have our sitting governor actually be open-minded to potentially having the National Guard in our community, I welcome it. Because I told y'all a couple weeks ago, did I not, Brother Z, did I not come on here and say, we might need to get the National Guard here? You know, I'm not a fan of having the National Guard in our city. I don't think that is something that would be, it would be a little off-putting to see people rolling around in tanks or people walking around in uniforms. I think that is a drastic measure that would be taken. But based off the constant violence we are seeing in our city, maybe, just maybe, it's something that we need to consider. And especially when you look at stats, and again, when the stats come from the White House, I don't trust them, but violence is down in Memphis, and I ain't gonna lie, Memphis had the National Guard inside the community, so there might be a correlation between over-policing and stopping violence. Now, would it be easy in the city of Milwaukee? No. But is it something that we may need to consider in order to curb the violence? Yes, because I'll be honest with y'all. I'd rather be uneasy. I'd rather see tanks roaming our streets than to see black people constantly getting killed in the community. That is a trade-off I'm willing to take. I'm willing to take a child being scarred from tanks being in downtown Milwaukee or on the north side or whatever the hell it is to ensure that children have fathers still in their lives. Children have their aunties still in their lives. Like, that is something that I would do a trade-off for in a heartbeat, because them kids would be okay. They can get over that trauma. But one thing you can't get over is death. And in Milwaukee, we have seen too much death in the last 4 to 5 years, and we got to finally solve the problem. Now, Truth Nation, on Monday, I asked y'all, why do we hate each other? And yes, I understand. That's a headline-type question. But it's something that I pondered, because it truly feels like that is the only reasonable explanation why we continue to kill each other at the rate that we do here in this city. And last weekend, we saw multiple shootings from just 2 incidents alone that left 9 people shot and 2 people killed. And the 2 people that were killed were 2 men. Not only were they men, they were black men. Not only were they black men, they were fathers. They had names. Simeon Calvert, 25. Dylan Jackson, 22. Killed in our city. Truth Nation, our community has left children to grow up without fathers. I want y'all to just let that sink in. Black criminals are forcing children to grow up without a dad. That is sad. That is so sad and so devastating. And for us to always talk about the importance of the black man in a household, having black fathers around, having black mentors, having black leaders, for us to always talk about that, and then sit here and kill each other and take away the black father from the household is so disheartening. They took away something that everybody is initially blessed with, and that is a father. These people took it away from people in our community, kids in our community. And we complain about how the government, how the white folks are keeping us down. But we need to get our own house in order here in Milwaukee before we start pointing fingers and trying to take on the big bad white wolf here in Wisconsin. We need to figure our own stuff out here in Milwaukee. Because there is nothing more anti-black than black people killing black people, man. And I will not sit here and act like I know the cause of all this violence because I wasn't raised that way. I wasn't raised around it. But I will say discipline, guidance, and leadership are great things. And I'll be honest with y'all. Me and my father don't always see eye to eye. We didn't always see eye to eye all the time. But one thing I will say, he and my mother made sure in that Wallace household that your actions had repercussions, is that you understood right from wrong. And that you understood that there was no reason to be disrespectful to people, because everything in life is about choices. And you may do wrong, but it's about rectifying that wrong. It's about trying to treat people with respect and dignity and understanding we should love thy neighbor. Nobody is perfect, but we need to have more leadership and guidance in our houses. Now, I can talk about this go on and on and on and over and over and over about the violence, but I did that on Monday. But now, Truth Nation, I want to talk about the solutions, because we didn't get to the solutions on Monday because I only have an hour. But I do want to hear from y'all and have a community conversation on how we can solve some of this violence. You're never going to completely stop violence. It's going to happen. But how can we reduce the violence we see in our community? 833-212-1017. I want to hear some solutions to the violence that we have in Milwaukee, because clearly we have a problem. But we need to try to find solutions. 833-212-1017. Andre in Milwaukee, what are your thoughts, and do you have any solutions to the violence that we see in Milwaukee?
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call. We got to own up to what our children, young people are doing. Not young people, just our people. Do we need aggressive policing? I would say yes. Some people need to be shook down, pat down more than others. Let me just say this. You know, we don't want the crime, but we don't want the cops. When they messing with our kids, grandkids who's out there causing these problems, they always messing with them. You know, like those saying, everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die. You know, we got to own up to that. We do need this. Let me just say this. You know, sometimes you have thoughts, and then when you get on the air, you get stage right a little bit. Let me just say this. Some of those people, like around 37th and Darien or whatever that is.
Darien and Kylie, yep.
If they would have stopped those guys with those guns and took them to jail Thursday, we wouldn't have those dead bodies laying around, and their lives wouldn't be thrown away. They would have been in jail for those guns. You know, we got to let the policemen do their jobs. We got to let them. Sometimes we need, people say over-policing. So when we get all these body counts, I would call that under-policing then. And the cops can't solve everything. Mm-hmm. But some people hanging out, this and that, do a field investigation. What's wrong with that? You ain't did nothing. And nobody likes the inconvenience. But we got to look at all the bodies.
Andre, I'm with you. The biggest thing you're saying, we have to sacrifice we have our freedoms, but we have to sacrifice something in order to save it. And I get it, because it's hard to want to fully trust a police force that has screwed you over in the past. I get it. But we are in dire straits here in the city of Milwaukee, where something has to be done, and we need to collaborate with the city of Milwaukee, and we need to be open-minded to try to figure out some of these problems, because this cannot continue to persist. I'm telling you, it cannot. When I found out that these young black men, and I told you on Monday, I assumed they were black, and they turned out to be black, which is sad. But when I found out these young black men weren't just young black men, when I found out these young black men were responsible for other people's lives, when I found out that children are going to be raised without a father, I envisioned 10 years from now a child looking at a photo of their father. I envision 10 years from now a child looking at a video of their father. I envision 10 years from now a child going back on social media, or a child going back and looking at the news article of their father being killed, or a video of their father laying in the street getting CPR. Again, Truth Nation, these aren't just bodies. These aren't just victims. These are members of our communities who are brothers, who are cousins, who are sons, and who are fathers. And a lasting image that their children and their family is going to see is their loved one laid out in the street. their loved one's name plastered in the news, not because of something great they did, because they became a victim to the violence in our community. That has to be depressing and devastating. The mental trauma that we are putting our community through is just disheartening and it's terrible. And we have to do something about it. 833-212-1017. Muhammad, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
How we doing, Kyle? Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Thanks for calling in. What's your thoughts today?
My thoughts is, who is the number one law enforcement in our city?
I would assume MPD.
The top cop.
Oh, you talking about Jeffrey Norman?
Well, the sheriff. Our sheriff. That's, it's funny you didn't say that. But
Danita Ball?
Yeah, it's our sheriff. Who's Danita Ball? It's been a no-show. Where's our sheriff at? We're talking about bringing in, troops and this, that, and the other. We have a sheriff that's in control of not just the city, but the county. I have not seen any collaboration with our sheriff leading the charge with MPD. I do see MPD downtown, but that's right down the street from, the jail and the sheriff's office. How come there is zero input from the sheriff?
Muhammad, I think that's a great thought, and thank you about maybe how can we support them is trying to bring in the sheriff's department to potentially help support and utilizing whatever equipment they have and whatever resources they have to protect our community and protect our streets. I do think it's an all hands on deck type operation. I mean, I really do. Not only just the sheriffs, if we're talking about maybe having a Milwaukee County coalition, because those who are in downtown Milwaukee specifically aren't just people from the city of Milwaukee. So maybe having a coalition of Milwaukee County, different police forces, and they definitely work with one another when they need it to maybe help protect the streets. But we have to do something. Again, 833-212-1017. Al in Milwaukee, what are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Well, first of all, everybody got the free will, and you don't need to be controlled like no animal, and no white man got to tell you how to act. How about lose that toxic masculinity y'all have for each other? Because you don't have that for Whitey, number one. Y'all know how to be civil when it comes to Whitey, but when it comes to your own, that's when you got all that anger and hate. And then the last thing, stop letting these women put y'all up to act a fool. Y'all done got a piece of ass, your nose wide open, and y'all up here acting stupid. And after you go to prison, she going to be giving that ass up to somebody else the next day.
Oh, wow.
And you going to be giving your ass up to somebody else for the next couple of years. Then you're going to come out Muslim because he went past that second ring.
Oh, wow.
Lose your anger.
Well, Al,
lose that anger you have.
What if you're the dominant one in jail?
Oh, well, if I'm down to one, I don't have to worry about that. But if they don't take that ass, they're going to take that mouth. It's going to be one of the two.
Okay.
But you got to lose that toxic.
What?
Okay.
You asked for it, and you baited him into doing it.
I didn't know he was going to say that.
Yes, you did.
I thought he was just going to say, I was trying to offer an opposing view. There's a giver and there's a taker.
What else would come out of that man's mouth?
Wow, that was crazy. I had to drop him. I was hitting the buttons. Yeah. Okay, so for those who are young and listening, listen to Al. 833-212-1017. Before we go to break, I do want to bring on Ty. You're from MK. You're on Truth to Power.
Hi, Cal. I want to say everyone is saying the police department and the sheriff's department, they cannot do nothing to prevent a crime. They're there after the crime. What we have to do for solutions is get into the household, start teaching values and morals again, start teaching that once someone passed away, it ain't no reneging, it ain't no you can come back, it ain't nothing of that. And teaching children and youth, there's consequences to your actions. There's consequences to your actions. And so until we get in the household and get to the parents and the young people and let them know there's consequences. We can put police and sheriffs all there out in the street. They come after the crime is committed. They do not know that you're going to commit a crime. So they cannot be there to stop the crime. They can be a deterrent.
That's true.
But if someone's going to do it, they're going to go to the next block and do it. So we need to get in the mindset of the people.
No. Ty, you're absolutely right. You can't 100% prevent crime, and hopefully they wouldn't go to the next block, but you don't know because it is a mindset. And so I appreciate the dialogue and the conversation. You can continue to join in on the conversation by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can give us a like, you can give us a share, you can give us a subscribe, because I do want to talk about solutions. I do. I want to talk about the solutions, and I want to talk about ideas that we have because they're out there. They're definitely out there. And so I'm going to provide continue to provide more, of my thoughts. But you can also, again, call in, text in at 833-212-1017. But also, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Now, before we go to break, Truth Nation, I told y'all the Analysis Live is on Friday, and I hit up my boy TC. I hit up my boy the Nash. I said, listen, I need free tickets for Truth Nation, and they came through. So right now, Truth Nation, while supplies last, for the next 25 minutes, text Kyle. Text Kyle. That is Kyle. That is Kyle at KYLE to 833-212-1017, and you are going to get free tickets. Yes, free tickets to the Analysis Live on Friday. Now, I think it's a pair of tickets. It could be more, but you get at least a pair. Oh, wow. You said not one, not two. You said four? 4 tickets. You get 4 tickets to the Analysis Live by simply texting Kyle to 833-212-1017. When you text Kyle to that is a keyword. You will get a message back telling you what you have to do. But again, text Kyle to 833-212-1017 for your chance to get free tickets to the Analysis Live on Friday night at the Riverside Theater. Text Kyle to 833-212-1017, and you going to be in the building. But Truth Nation, we come back on the other side. We'll continue this conversation.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This is Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Xavier Spencer. The Bucks are looking to add on to their wins tonight as they visit Damian Lillard in Portland. The game against the Blazers is tonight at 9. Brewers opening day is tomorrow against the White Sox. Brandon Sproat, who came to the Brewers in the Freddie Peralta deal with the Mets, looked good this exhibition games, putting up 4 innings pitched, 5 kills, 2 hits, and no runs. He says he wasn't sure he made the team until Murphy called him out.
I went and got food because my day was over. I came around the corner and he was standing by his office. And he was like, "Hey, you made the team." He was like, "Deal with it." And I was like, "Sounds good, appreciate it."
The Chicago White Sox come to town for a 3-game series, and opening day is tomorrow with first pitch at 2:10. The Wisconsin's women's basketball team advanced in the Women's Basketball Invitational Tournament after entering with a 10-game losing streak. Their next game is Thursday at 6:30 against Harvard. I'm Xavier Spencer, and this is the True Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth.
This is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation, it is that time of year again for the Tory Lowe Community Cleanup presented by Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we will be beautifying our city and cleaning up the city of Milwaukee. You can meet us at Evolve Church, Pitts Mortuary, and MLK Elementary School, where we will be cleaning up the community. Make sure you visit ToryLoweCommunityCleanup.com or ToryLoweCleanup.com. That is ToryLoweCleanup.com, so you can find out all information about each location we're cleaning up. The Tory Lowe Community Cleanup is sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, and Waste Management. Join us on Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we beautify our city. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. We're having a conversation about the fact that Tony Evers was asked if he would send the National Guard into the city of Milwaukee, and he said, yeah, if they asked for it, I would. He said he would send them in if the city of Milwaukee would ask for it. I'm trying to figure out how we can find solutions to this problem, because right now here in the city of Milwaukee, we have a big issue. We really do, and we need to solve it. And for me, I really believe that we need to stop making excuses. And by the way, y'all can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. That is 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. And make sure you give us a like and a share and a subscribe. But for me, when I think about it, it starts with setting up standards and expectations for our community and our people, for our youth. Because thriving black communities, the ones that we have across America, they have standards. They have expectations that you need to meet. And that's how they become thriving metropolises. In Milwaukee, we don't have a universal standard of expectation for our children. Until we start coming down with a heavier hand of justice and start caring about the victims of violence, start caring about the victims of violence more than we care about those who are the perpetrators, that's when we'll take steps forward that we necessarily need to take in order to be better. Because this stuff will continue on if we keep sitting here making excuses for the perpetrators. And I'm not saying that, we need to write these folks off. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if we need to focus on making sure people can heal in all different aspects of their lives. And I remember last summer when this stuff was going wild, right? Last summer it was absolutely out of hand. And I sent an email to my alderperson. To discuss like what I felt were potentially good ideas to potentially stop this violence from happening. And so when I emailed them, let me go ahead and go to my screenshots, because I had to screenshot exactly what I sent to my alderperson. And I wanted to provide some ideas, because I felt like I just needed to do something. Because when you have a weekend here in the city of Milwaukee now, right, where you have 2 separate shootings, where you have 9 people shot and 2 people killed, black men who are fathers, both under the age of 25, something has to be done. People taken away because of active senseless violence. And so when I contacted my alderperson last summer, I just wanted to give ideas, right? And this was specific to the nonsense happening on Water Street. I said we need to have paid meter parking in nightlife districts in Milwaukee 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. with surge charge prices. Any car parked after 2 a.m. on these streets will be towed. Again, yes, it's detrimental for folks who may not be doing anything wrong, but also we got to get this right. And so I felt like maybe charging surge prices at parking would deter people from coming downtown like that. Have vehicle checkpoints coming into downtown to check people's vehicles and weapons. Yeah, that's dramatic, but it's something that needs to be done. Something I also feel that we should do is, I remember when they put up those barrier checkpoints, but they didn't have anybody at those checkpoints. I feel like the city of Milwaukee needs to set up security entry points for downtown nightlife districts, which have frequent nuisances. Limiting how people can get in and get out would be beneficial for the community. We saw it done in the RNC and in Madison when they hosted their October Freak Fest. Maybe to pay for this, we could start charging people to get inside of that barrier. Charge them $5 to get inside of the barrier because they have some skin in the game. But in addition to that, to get inside that barrier, now it's a secure barrier. There needs to be something done because this nonsense has to stop. It just has to stop. 833-212-1017. I do still want to hear your ideas. Because, again, when we look around our city, we have to figure out how this can end. And for me, when I look around here, I think we have a lot of good organizations, but I don't think we ain't getting the right kids in those organizations. That's the problem. Because there was a lot of great organizations, but recently I was told about an organization called LIT, and I've heard of them before, but the organization is opening up a lounge. Let me just read this verbatim here. And LIT stands for Leaders Igniting Transformation, and they're opening up a lounge for high schoolers, and they're having their ribbon cutting ceremony on March 27th. Now, it's going to be on the south side, near downtown Milwaukee south side, off of Mineral, for people to be able to use the spaces that they have, for high schoolers to have that third space option, they call it. So things we've already seen in our community for years, just having more of them and talking about them will be beneficial. But we got to find a way to get these kids off the street. And one thing on top of that, because you got to catch them early, but then another thing is that we have to make sure that there is no loitering in downtown Milwaukee on Water Street. Because one of the big issues that we saw over this past weekend, and one of the major issues that we saw in the summer, was when people congregate, that's when issues arise. When you're talking about teenagers being shot, 18, 19-year-old teenagers being shot because they're outside the bars, well, I wonder why they're outside the bars. They're not old enough to get in. It should be the police responsibility to say there is no loitering or hanging out. I don't give a damn if it's public property or not. This is our night district, and when people hang out, bad things happen. Y'all need to go somewhere else with this. But in addition to that, maybe we need to have a teen nightclub, and I know that could end up with violence as well. But we have to give more options for these young folks to be able to utilize. And again, I know a 25-year-old got shot in the city of Milwaukee, and cleaning up Water Street ain't going to stop that. There's other things you do to stop that. But to clean up what's on Water Street needs to be an investment. Now, to clean up what's in our community also needs to be an investment, but a different investment. And I think that investment needs to be made in schools. Now, I didn't get to it today because I wanted to talk about my experience at the Wiz last night, which y'all should go to Marcus Performing Arts Center to go see the Wiz. But there's a school district in the state of Wisconsin, in Lake Country, Waukesha County, that is at risk of dissolving if they don't have additional funding. They need $3.2 million to be approved by referendum next Tuesday, or 2 Tuesdays from now, in order to stay solvent and not have to dissolve. That should be a warning sign that we are not getting the investment in our schools from the state that we need. When you have school districts dissolving, which will be the first school district to dissolve since 1990, and when you look at the economy, and when you look at how much it costs per pupil to educate, and the inflation and the cost of living going up, we have to understand that, yes, that Lake Country school district, that's a small school district, might be fading and might have to dissolve, but that is just the first crack in the armor. We need to invest in our kids. We need to invest in our schools. And here in Milwaukee, we need to make sure that we're putting an investment in our students as well. And in addition to that, those who get in trouble, they're not lost causes. They just need to be rerouted in a different direction. I played cornerback in high school, football. And one thing you did was you jammed the wide receiver to reroute them, direct them. We got to jam these kids to reroute them. We got to hold them to a higher standard. If you end up going to the juvenile detention center, you end up in St. Charles, you end up in one of these places because you was acting out as a kid, we should not quit on these children. We should not give up on these children, but we need to understand that these children are hurting and they are problem children, and the path that they are on right now will only lead to death and devastation for them potentially or for the community. So how do you redirect that negative energy? Is that you set them up with standards. You change the culture. You need to let these kids in juvie understand and know your ass ain't going nowhere until you get this high school diploma. You're not going nowhere until you get skills training. We're going to turn you into a productive member of society. You do not leave here until you accomplish these goals. So instead of them just being there to hang out, chill, do their little time before they get freed again, you need to make sure that they leave with a set of skills. And if they can't get these set of skills, then they're going to sit here. Because I'd rather have somebody from 14 to 17 or 18 where you can still control them and tell them this is what you gonna do, then sit here and train them up and make them have a skill. I ain't mad about roughing some kids up. I ain't against that, to be honest. But I'd rather have us capture these kids who are troubled youth at 14, 15, 16, 17, 13, 12 and teach them skills instead of having them sit there inside of these places that are just chaotic, by the way, and not gaining anything. Only thing they're gaining is understanding how to be part of this awful system that we have. So again, when we talk about changes, it really starts with those who are touching the youth. It starts with the schools. It starts with the community leaders. It starts with the politicians to actually thinking about how can we reinvest in education. I hate paying extra money for taxes. I do. I really do. I hate the fact when I look at my tax bill, how much money is going to MPS and the results that we're getting. But we need to pump more. But we also need to have understanding of what we expect from them and what we need to see from the outcomes. 833-212-1017. It is Truth to Power, Kyle Walsh. Before we go to break, you know what? I talked about money. This is your chance to get entered to win some money.
One call, that's all.
One call, that's all is right. Be caller number 7 right now at 833-212-1017 for your chance to be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices in the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Be caller number 7 right now at 833-212-1017 and you will be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of the One Call, That's All Gruber Cash Giveaway. Remember, if you or a loved one has ever been injured in an accident, contact Gruber Law Offices today or visit them at gruber-law.com. For official contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com. Be caller number 7 right now to win this. You'll be entered to win this cash money.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Hungry for something fresh and delicious? Get your favorites from Cousin Subs delivered straight to your door. From our freshly baked bread and hand-sliced meats and cheeses to our famous sides, crispy golden fries, Wisconsin cheese curds, or creamy mac and cheese. Every meal made to order and ready to enjoy. Ordering is quick and easy online or through the Cousins app. Whether it's a solo lunch, family dinner, or a spread for the whole crew, let us bring it straight to you, fast and fresh. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application. Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Shout out to Monique for being entered to win $5,000. Shout out to y'all. What a show that it's been. Also, Truth Nation, before I go, make sure y'all text Kyle. Text Kyle to 833-212-1017. And I'm going to extend it. Y'all go ahead, just keep texting it past 1 o'clock. And if the link still works, it still works. But text Kyle to 833-212-1017 for your chance to win 4 tickets. Not a chance, for you to win 4 tickets to go to the Analysis Live on Friday night. Make sure y'all text Kyle to 833-212-1017 to be in the building, to see the NASA's interview Ric Flair, to see maybe Giannis for the last time in Milwaukee. We'll see if he shows up. If he show up, will he say something? We'll see. But also see Pat Murphy and Jacob Mizorowski as well, and potential other special guests. So make sure y'all text Kyle to 833-212-1017 for your chance to win 4 tickets. True Nation, for me, I guess I'll end with this, is that there's so many great things happening in our city of Milwaukee, and there's so many shining stars in the city of Milwaukee. I hate the fact that this negativity, like this little negativity that we have, is such a black eye, and it's such a distraction away from the great things that we have. But for me, I guess, until we can make this Milwaukee, the city of Milwaukee, great. And I told you, I used to recruit out in Maryland, Montgomery County, Prince George County, Northern Virginia. Like, I was in that area. I was in that space. And I got to see what black wealth looks like. I got family in the south suburbs of Chicago. I done been to Southfield, Michigan, right? I done been to all these places that you have black money, black wealth. And the thing that is so crazy to me is that when you grow up in the city of Milwaukee, you don't know about these thriving communities in other places like that. And I want Milwaukee to be a thriving community. It is possible. It is possible, but it would take a group effort, a community effort. And we have to start with educating each other. And when I say educating each other, educating our youth, providing job opportunities, having our youth understand when you graduate from high school, you don't just go chill, you go to work, you go to contribute to society, you go to college, you go become an entrepreneur, you go to build yourself up better, and you make the community better. And when somebody gets murdered and somebody gets killed, we make sure they pay the price. We aren't the person that is the final judgment, because I don't believe in the death penalty, but people should definitely get behind bars and think about what they did. We got to get these criminals off the streets so the city can truly thrive. This has been Truth to Power with Kyle Walls on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Just so you know, best of Truth to Power tomorrow. Taking a day off, so we have a best of Truth to Power tomorrow, so make sure y'all stay locked in for that. But I will be back on Friday. Truth Nation, peace out. I love y'all.